Okie dokie, here we go. Hi everybody, I'm Teresa McGallicher from the Miracles Tribe, and last week I did a Facebook Live video for you all about the story from Genesis in the Bible of Adam and Eve and how they committed the original sin, which everybody believes was disobeying God because God specifically told them they could eat fruit from any tree in the Garden of Eden except for fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which as we all know they did. And then suddenly, instead of everything seeming perfect and everything seeming ideal, they started to see some things as good, some things as bad. They started to know good and evil, duality. So that's when everything started to go haywire. That's when everything started to go downhill for us in humanity. And today I want to continue with that theme and share a little more from that story, because another thing that happened when Adam and Eve ate from the fruit of that tree is that they suddenly saw that they were naked and they became ashamed. And that's how God knew that they had eaten the fruit, because he came down to the Garden of Eden to walk with them, and they didn't want to hang out with him. And he said, why not? And they said, because we're naked. And he said, who told you that? Because they had not known that before. So this is a very important element that I want to speak to, this idea of shame. So shame is when you think there's something wrong with you and you feel bad about it. There's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is when you think you did something wrong, and shame is when you think that you are wrong, and that cannot be fixed. If you did something bad, something wrong, and you feel guilty, you can make amends, right? You can go and apologize. You can do something to fix whatever you damaged. But when there's a sense of shame, it doesn't seem fixable. It feels like you just have to live with that horrible feeling. And so what I want to point out to you with regard to A Course in Miracles is that ACIM tells us we are perfect, we are whole, we are holy children of God. We never did anything wrong, and we think we did, we think we are bad, and that is the source of all the trouble, the belief in sin. So you may know of a famous teacher, Dr. David Hawkins. He had an awakening experience as a young boy and was enlightened, and then later came across A Course in Miracles and began to teach it. And he has this amazing map of consciousness, of the levels of consciousness. And at the very top of the map is love, peace, and joy. And at the very bottom of the map is guilt and shame. Those are the two very lowest vibrations that a human being can be operating from. And unfortunately, a large percentage of humanity is stuck there, stuck in guilt and shame and feeling humiliated about things for which they have no reason to feel bad, because a spirit can't do anything wrong. A spirit can't sin. And if you think that you are a body instead of a spirit, that's where the confusion happens. It's mistaken identity. So I just wanted to share that with you. The two things from that story in Genesis, those are metaphors to show us that we are, the Course says, we are still in paradise. We just don't know it. It also says that God put Adam into a deep sleep. And nowhere in the Bible does it ever say that he woke up. We are dreaming here in this illusory existence of life on earth that seems very real, in the same way that when you go to sleep at night and you have vivid dreams, they seem very real. And you don't question when you're asleep that what you are experiencing is not the truth. And it could be a nightmare and it could be a happy dream, but it still seems real until you wake up. So our spiritual practice with A Course in Miracles is to step back from this illusion, not take it so seriously. Recognize that it's a dream, recognize that it's an illusion, recognize that it's not the truth of who we are or what we're about. The truth of who you are is spirit, and that is everlasting, that is eternal, and this is a temporary experience in a body in the 3D world, and we want to make the most of that experience while we're here. The way to do that is to enjoy life, to share, to love one another, all the things that Jesus taught, and not get bogged down in the guilt and the shame and the fear. Those won't get you anywhere. They don't help you. They don't help anyone else. I know it seems tricky, but I just want to remind you, that's what I came on here for today, to remind you there's nothing wrong with you. You never did anything wrong. You can't make a mistake in a dream because it's not real. So have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.